Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Kart Crazy. Behind me here sits my latest marketplace find. It's a 2017 Club Car Precedent, and today we're going to do a few simple basic upgrades that won't break the budget and is going to totally transform the look of this cart. So make sure you stick around to the end. Let's get started. All right, well here's your first look. A couple of things that immediately drew me to this cart. The color of the body, blue, I really like that. Really looks sharp. And the wheels. Those are the two first things that drew my eye to this cart. It popped up somewhat locally. It was about an hour away. And the price was right. And I knew we could transform this thing super easy for not a lot of money. So what you're going to notice is this was an off-course cart, we'll call it. It was used on a golf course. The story behind it is it was sold at our local dealer. They did a few of the upgrades, obviously the body and the wheels, but they left the seats alone and they left the roof alone. Okay, so those are two big upgrades that you can do affordably and are going to dramatically change the look of your cart. The windshield, it's probably hard to tell from a distance, but it is in terrible condition. Lots of scratches and overall just not in good shape. It's dirty. So here's what I did. Let me dig into a few of the parts that I bought, and we didn't buy much for this, but just a couple of basic upgrades. Like I said, we're going to turn this thing into something awesome, and these are upgrades that you can do yourself with a few basic hand tools. All right, so let me show you what I purchased here. I actually stopped at my local dealer to get a black roof because that's going to help us dramatically. He didn't have any new ones for whatever reason, but he said, hey, I've got a used one I'll give you a good deal on. So I got this for about half price, a little more than half price. I got that roof for $100, and it's in really good shape. We'll clean that up. I picked up a steering wheel on Amazon and an adapter. I think both of those together was about $50, give or take, and you can change the design on the wheels. They have, I don't know, probably 30 or 40 different designs on the wheel, and the prices fluctuate a little bit. The adapter is about $20, and the wheels run between like 25 and 50, so it just depends on how crazy you want to get there. These are the Nokin slip-on covers. Super simple to do yourself at home, no stapling required, so we'll pop those on. And then the Cerakote, and that's going to restore our black plastic, and hopefully I have enough. I didn't think to get more of that, but that's going to take our dull, and it's not really dull, it's in pretty good shape, but it's going to brighten that plastic and bring that right back around to make it look like brand new. And then the last piece of the puzzle is a new windshield, and that's from our friends over at Kemimoto, and that's going to be super simple to change that over as well. So those basic things are going to transform this cart. Now it does need a good cleaning, the wheels need polishing a little bit, and there's a deep scratch on this side. I say deep, a pretty good sized scratch. Hopefully the camera's picking that up. It's not deep, I guess is what I should say. It's more of a surface scratch. So we'll be able to polish that out. Otherwise, this cart is in really nice shape. It's super dirty. It's going to need a good pressure washing, but for the sake of today's video, we're just going to give it a good wash and polish on the outside. Now this had one of those contraptions for washing the golf balls, so there's some sand and it kind of ran down the side here, you can see, but all of that will polish right out. In fact, I can almost wipe it off. So that's going to come around super easy. The back end, not only is it dirty, but it needs to be brightened up as well. So, and there's another trick I can show you if you want to get a little more aggressive than the Cerakote. So let's just start with the basic things. We'll pop this roof off of here, and to do that, it's literally, and these are 10 millimeter. There's two on each side. There's some rubber washers / gaskets in here, and then on the back there's a I believe that's a T40 Torx. Get my camera to focus. and a 13 millimeter, and that is it. And that whole roof will pop right off of there. And then the windshield, of course, the top is just flipped down, and it's already broken, so it's another reason why we should change it. Also, just two 10 millimeter bolts, and we'll remove that and the roof to get started. All right, just a few short minutes. We popped both the roof and the windshield out. And this cart had a terrible squeak. And my suspicions were correct. I snugged these bolts up. I'd taken it on a test drive, but I thought for sure these two main roof support struts were loose. And sure enough, they were. I should have just checked that the other day because we've been riding it around all week listening to a squeak and driving us both nuts. So it would be super easy just to pop that roof on there, pop the windshield in, but I'm going to cheat a little bit on this one. I actually have one of these upstairs that I believe I've already cleaned up and either used the Cerakote on or it was in really good condition, so I'm going to grab that. Now, you're not going to have that luxury probably on your cart, so you will have to, if you want it to look a little brighter in appearance, you will have to go through and do that with the Cerakote. But I get to cheat, so keep that in mind. So probably what I'll do is I'll pull this down a little bit farther. Now, like I said, you wouldn't have to do that. And then we'll run it outside and just hose off what we can here so that we can start kind of polishing the body panels and doing some of that other stuff. All right. Don't know how much of that you saw. I always forget not to put the camera in direct sunlight, and it overheats relatively quickly, but I think you get the general idea. Got these off of Amazon. I think they were $69, $70, something like that. And I see it comes with some instructions. Not sponsored in any way. I picked these over some of the other ones I've used just because I like the piping and stuff that they had on them. And just going to glance over this. Don't think we need that. It's pretty straightforward. We'll do the backrest first. And this is, remember when your mom told you to make your bed when you were little? And all that character building and responsibility and all that? Well, here you go. That's so you could know how to put your golf cart seat covers on as an adult. Because that's basically what it's like. Making your bed. Takes a little finagling to get it just right. Do I have this on upside down? No wonder it's going so hard. Dummy. Let's try putting it on the right way. I was like, wow, this is really a tight fit. Well, Yeah, it is when you're trying to put it on upside down and backwards. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Still is a nice tight fit, which is helpful because you don't want it sliding around, and you don't want to make it look like you just threw something on there and it doesn't fit right either. So okay, now I'm just going to go around and make sure I got all my lines in the right spot, and then we can hook up our straps. Looking pretty good there. Looking pretty good there. I think we'll go ahead and cinch these down. Nice thing about this is if you get it wrong, you can always just loosen it up and redo it. Don't have that luxury in the when you staple them on. When they're on, they're on. You mess it up, unless you want to go through and take all the staples off, it's probably going to stay that way. There. How's it look? Pretty good. It's not too bad. Can always make adjustments down the road if need be. All right, let's check out this bottom one. I was thinking we could leave the straps hooked up and slip it on. Well, you could, but that would be a lot of finagling. Probably have to take the hip restraints off and all of that. I don't know if I can figure out what side is what. I have a feeling this is the... And we may still have to take the hip restraints off. Yeah, I think I'm going to. It's going to help a lot. And I always mark these in some way, shape, or form. It's just a lot easier to know left and right when you're looking at something upside down. There. That'll help us get around these corners a little easier. Oh, golf tee. Probably don't need that, especially since I don't golf. Oh, this is cool. It's even got little pockets for the, at least I know I got it on the right way. Pockets for the hinges, that's what I was trying to say. I can see them a little A little crooked, not too bad. We'll get that straightened out. Cinch our straps down here. Sorry if I'm not in view of the camera. I'm not really paying attention to that. Probably should be. Since that's why you're watching this, so you can learn something. Or from my terrible jokes, one of the two. Alright. Hold those good and tight. Give it one last look. Yep. Looks good. Line up our hip restraints. Boy, does that look much better. Okay, so hopefully the golf cart's dried off enough and we can push it back inside. Just kind of looking at it out the window here, looks pretty good. Move some of this out of the way, we'll pull that back in, do our steering wheel, our roof, and our Cerakote. Alright, now that it's back in the shop, you can definitely see some of those spots that aren't as pretty as they were when it was wet. Of course, it looked great when it was still wet, but a lot of that imperfections are starting to kind of show themselves here. So remember I told you I was going to show you how to get these scratches out? So let's do that. Alright, for the scratch remover, I grabbed 2 microfiber cloths. They're both clean, they're both new. And I use this plastics. I'm sure there's others out there, but this one works really good. You could actually use a little electric buffer, which I have, but not all of you have that, so we're going to do it the old-fashioned way with a little elbow grease and just circular motions, just like waxing a car. And I'll get that as best I can. Got one down here too. I'm not sure what that is. That looks like something got spilt on it maybe. But just kind of keep working it. And don't need a ton. I mean, a little goes a long ways. So I've got 2 little, probably half pea size and we're probably not going to get it completely, but we should be able to lighten it up so it's not so noticeable. This one might need the electric buffer to get it out completely or close to completely. But I think we made an improvement. Definitely not nearly as noticeable. Alright, well, I got the camera down low. I thought it would be a good time to get our trim and bumper wipes out. And I always wear a glove. I mean, I don't know what's in these things, you know. Could be like rabies or chemicals, sewer water, you know, who knows. So, probably a good idea just to throw a glove on, personal preference, of course. But literally, and I know I say that a lot, and I get picked on in the comments for saying that, believe it or not. But when something's easy, I like to make it known, I guess. And when I first used these, I thought, oh man, you can't get it on the paint or anything. Well, it doesn't matter. Just, I had it all taped off and everything the first time I used it. Hopefully that contrast is showing up. And you're going to say, well, yeah, you just put it on, so it's going to look great. But it'll stay like that. It doesn't change. It gives it that nice shiny appearance. So I'm going to go through and finish wiping this. I'll do as much as I can. Like I said, I may run out of wipes. Try to get this dash area a little bit. Definitely this trim piece here, because you see that every time you ride it. Not going to touch that at all just because I'm low on wipes and that's in pretty good shape. But I am going to try to get back here and get some of this. So I'll put you on time lapse here and try to get that done, and we'll come back and take a second look. Look at that. Much better. Okay, like I said, I forgot to grab an extra box of wipes. I think I only had 4 or 5 left in that one, so I stretched it as far as I could. There's some areas I didn't get real well, but the main areas I focused on is right where your eyes go to immediately. So it's this big bumper in the back, usually in the dash if you're in the driver's seat, and of course this big black on the front end. So I really focused on those. Kind of did a little bit in the dash. One thing I got to caution you on those wipes, if you have any kind of imperfection in your plastic like that, you get a lot of these fuzzies, which isn't a huge deal, but just wanted to make you aware of it. I just briefly wiped the dash. That really needs to be gone over a second time. I did not get back in there at all, so I got, basically where the key switch and stuff is. One thing I wish I would have remembered, they also make a mat that lays in here for about $75. It literally just pops over the top of the pedals, and that's all there is to it. There's no bolting in or anything, so that's another upgrade you could do. But let's go ahead and throw the seats on. And before I put the roof on, I think I'm going to pop this steering wheel apart, and I'll show you how to do that. So we can do our steering wheel upgrade. It gives me a little more headroom in there in case I have to fight with that wheel a little bit. See if my guess was correct on the bolt size. Yep. Now sometimes these will get stuck on, so what I do is I get it to where I leave it loose, and then you gotta pull real hard like that. But by leaving the bolt in there, when it breaks free, you don't end up on the floor behind the cart. Okay, steering wheel straight. Always try to pay attention to where the straight is in the steering wheel, and that's going to come into play when we go to put our new adapter in our steering wheel on, and I'll show you that. Alright, now here's where it can get a little bit frustrating or interesting or exciting or however you want to say it. There's multiple slots in this adapter, and this is a hex head, so you have to kind of get your steering wheel. You almost have to assemble it first, unless you can kind of eyeball it and you know where those Allens are going to line up with your adapter, because what will happen is you'll be off a cog one way or the other, and then your steering wheel will be crooked. So there's a couple ways to do it. You can put it on and mark it so you know where upright is, and you know where your Allens are going to go. Just so everything lines up, but it does take a little patience, I guess, for lack of a better word. And there's no way I got this right on the first try, but it looks like we're pretty close. All right, somehow it looks like I nailed that on the first try. I've got a little slop in the steering wheel. That's a project for another day. I've got some front end work to do on this cart, but there you go. Pretty simple. Adapter and steering wheel. It's even got the S for my last name in there. I don't know how I did that. That was pure coincidence. But now I think it's time to go ahead and put the roof on and pop that new front windshield that we got from Kemimoto. We'll throw that on here as well. All right, big thanks to our friends over at Kemimoto. Looks great. I got a couple of fingerprint smudges on there. Now you'll notice on this cart it has, I don't know if you can see it, there's a couple of holes on the bottom, and actually what they do is they give you an extra shelf to put in there if you want. And it kind of looks like this, if you can see that. Goes in the bottom, there's a cup holder and a spot for like your cell phone and things like that. I'm going to opt out on that on this one just for now. I may do it later, but I don't want that on there now. But man, oh man, does this look better. Really coming around. I've just got a few things left to do. I've got to put the bolts in the roof. And what else was there? I think that's about it. All right, so let's go over what we spent and what we did on this cart. Of course, we got the used roof to replace that ugly tan colored one. That was $100. If you do have to buy a new one, I believe they're about $170, like I said. The windshields are between $120 and $140, depending on if you want it with that extra shelf or not. The Cerakote wipes are about $17 a box. The seat covers are $70. And the steering wheel with the adapter is, I think it was right at $55, if I'm not mistaken. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, I've got an ugly tan body on mine, or I've got standard golf cart wheels. Look around. I mean, there's hubcap sets you can buy that look like aluminum wheels, and you can save some money there. Maybe go to your local dealer and ask if they have an old body laying around, and you can experiment with painting one. A lot of times they just throw those away. I've thrown lots of those away, of those old ugly style. So maybe just pop into your local dealer and see if there's something you can maybe, like I said, get for free and take it home and experiment, do some painting on. There's wrap kits that you can buy for these, which take a lot more patience, I know, on that. But really happy with the way it looks. It definitely changed the look of this cart. We've got a nice steering wheel on there. We've got nice seats. The other thing I like about these slip-on covers is you don't have to buy that extra plastic piece to hide your staples, because you've got that elastic band, and that looks fine. Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for coming along. And all in, all done, I think our grand total was about $380 before tax. So just keep that in mind as you look around. You can paint the roof on your cart. I've done that in the past. If you have a tan or a white roof and you want to change it to black, I've done some paint and some other things, or there is some other things you can do, like Rhino line. I have never done that, but I have painted them. It's okay. It's not my favorite. That's why I prefer to just change them over to just buying a black one. So, but like I said, if you really want to slim this down, some seat covers, some hubcaps on some stock wheels, maybe paint your roof, and you can save a lot of money that way. So hope you like what you saw. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We'll see you next time.